This isn't good conversation. We can cut this.
No, it's not.
Okay, folks. If you know what patina is, comment below.
That's gotta go. That's actually not patina. It's too much.
Honestly, fuck, that's good. Do we feel good about that closing, or?
The closing you just did? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I completely agree.
It was totally weird. Okay, welcome back, folks, to yet another episode of How to Survive a Scandal.
Welcome.
I think we would be remiss to not do a little catch-up on Summer House. It's going to be quick. For those of you who did not watch the show and joined us on that deep, deep dive, I promise it's not going to be the same this time around. But
and I do want to say I did hear from a couple listeners who do not know what Summer House is and stuck through the whole episode, and I just want to say thank you.
I heard the same. Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to those people. You know who you are. Thank you for going on that journey with us. Just a little quick sort of cleanup on that. I want to talk about a couple things.
Summer House.
Sierra has been, I just think, so classy, and I think that's really worth mentioning. She's done a couple red carpets.
Well, she was bad on the Euphoria red carpet.
Yeah. As like the interviewer, an interviewer. I don't know what you call those people who do interviews on red carpets. But she's just been so classy. And so the two that she's done, like the first one she captioned, if you can't trust your friends and your neighbors, that was fun. Trust, which I love. And then the second one, the Euphoria one, where she was like, I mean, if you steal your friend's ex-boyfriend, I think you have to get married, don't you? And looked dead ass at the camera.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. I was like, Sierra, you are bad to the bone.
Oh, she is rotten. No, she's doing amazing. Very proud of her.
No, and I don't want to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
So I would be remiss if I didn't take accountability and fact check myself. I was talking about the Daphne DeSorbo account on TikTok last episode, and Paige has since come out and saying I do not run that account, and so I just want to take full ownership. I'm not here to spread misinformation or disinformation, and so that was fake news. You heard it here first.
Thank you for saying that. I was going to call you out, but I'm glad you owned it yourself. The other thing I wanted to say is about Amanda and West. I feel like this is making me think two things. One, this is why I don't trust white women. Mm-hmm. Two, this is why it's so important to decenter men. I'm not here to like get into the nitty gritty of Amanda. Like I don't really have much of a analysis of her as a person. Actually, shout out to my friend Janine, who said something really insightful about Amanda, essentially saying like, this is why it's important to remember the longer you stay in a toxic situation, the more like harmful you become yourself.
Right. The more you justify like
where
you end up, or like what you end up doing.
Exactly.
Maybe. Yeah,
exactly. And there's obviously like caveats to that. Like it's not about like victim blaming and being like, it's more complicated than just saying like you should have gotten out. But I do think there's a lot of like, I think Amanda has very much earned a like poor Amanda trope, and like it's just giving peak white women.
Name a white woman you trust.
Thank you for asking. A white woman that I trust.
I'm not afraid to say I trust Reba McEntire.
That's so hilarious.
Wholeheartedly.
I want to say there's something like weird about her.
Reba?
Yeah, I actually heard something, but I do feel like
not a chance.
There is a way, you know. I feel like
she's probably like a massive Republican. Like I have no idea.
Sure.
I have no business hanging around with that woman, but she's awesome.
I'm sure they're out there. I'll come back to it. But
okay, white women at home, sit tight.
Sit tight. We'll get back to you. The list is not long. I'll say that. And then the second thing is just like, it's funny to me how this situation is obviously a big deal. And I hate it when people say like, all this over that guy. I don't get it. Like, I'm like, it's not about that. It's not about a guy. And like, I think that's clear to me. But I also think like, it's weird to think that part of the reason why this is so triggering is because of how men are centered in our lives. Yeah. And why it like hits home for Black women. And it is because of like what the experience of being with a mediocre man and being loved, quote unquote, or in a relationship with a mediocre man or getting some kind of validation from a mediocre man, what that means for us and how the like pain can run deep because of what like losing that validation means. You know what I mean? Even though it's not about him, it's not like, oh my God, I'm so sad I'm not with West, but it's like what that represents. Right. Do you know what I mean? How close that is to your identity and your personhood. And then when somebody like fucks with that, you're like, oh, it's bigger than the man, but it's also just like hurts more, which is just kind of crazy because I'm like, everybody knows West is a nothing burger. Like, please.
I mean, it's tricky. Honestly, actually, as far as men goes, I think he's one of the more interesting man characters out there.
Out there?
Out there in that land.
In what way?
Absolutely.
Because he's funny?
Yeah, because he's funny and he's playful, and I think that's a lot more to say in terms of like actual, like someone who seems like really enjoyable to be around. I don't see that a lot when I'm like watching these characters play out on TV. I don't feel that way about many of these men of like, I feel like I would have a good time hanging out with you.
Right, but I think that part of that is because of how men are centered, because like, how many women do you have in your life who are that playful and funny?
Oh, 100%. Wait, I'm like, it's 10x times, like for sure. So yeah, I'm not being like, oh my gosh, he seems exceptional as a person. Yeah. I'm saying he does seem like a cut above when it comes to like your average white man.
I know, but I think that's proving my point that like, right, the only reason he's a cut above is because male presence in our life is considered valuable in and of itself.
Certainly. Like all you have to do is be there.
Yeah, all you have to do is be there. And then if you're interesting and fun, it's like, oh my gosh, you're interesting and fun. I don't really care if you're a good person or like, not even you're a good person, but like, would I be so interested in you if you're a woman? Probably not. I'd be like, yeah, you seem nice and fine. But the fact that you're a man, like it shoots you up 10, 15 points because of male-centeredness.
What do you think of the cast of In the City? Did you see the trailer?
Yeah, I saw the new trailer and I'm like intrigued. I like that. I was heartbroken to hear Carl's reflections of how he's like, I shot a couple episodes with them and I don't think they wanted me for like the whole thing, and that's fine. And like if they want me for season 2, I'd love to be there. Like Carl, I can barely take him right now. He's breaking my heart.
I'm so sad Danielle's back.
I don't know why everyone is going off about Danielle. Frankly, I'm like, welcome back. So I'm not like a fan of Danielle, never have been, but like I don't understand why she gets so much shit. Like she's fine.
I just find her so annoying.
She's not that annoying.
She's pretty annoying.
Okay, the last thing I want to say is how much do you think you decenter men in your life? On a scale of 10 being decentered, 1 being totally front and centered.
1 being like, I'm boy crazy.
Yeah.
It depends on the season of life I'm in. Some seasons I am 6.5. Mm-hmm. Others I'm a 1.
And like what would you say you are right now?
In the summer, I'm like a 1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what would you say you are right now?
Right now I am 1.
I'll pray for you.
What are you?
I would say I am currently I'm a 5.5 to 6.
Wow, so strong. Since I'm a 1, can I talk about a boy right now or no?
Since I'm a 5.5, can I offer you some feedback?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just kidding. Go ahead.
Because you didn't actually ask about local gossip. You didn't ask about local gossip.
I didn't. No.
And so that's just kind of, you just assumed I didn't have any, or?
Yeah, you rarely do.
I actually typically do, but a big thing happened to me this week.
Oh, okay.
I met the boyfriend's parents.
Oh, you did? I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was actually totally huge.
Oh my God.
Huge. I was totally nervous.
Wow, sorry I skipped over that.
Yeah, you actually
tell me everything.
Feel bad.
Leave nothing out.
The biggest thing that I want to talk about is what happened in the opener, because obviously I was very stressed and was very anxious about just like the process. And I was like, okay, anything I should know, any character, like personality traits I should put away for the evening. And then I always was also like, okay, or like, what are we talking? Are they huggers? Are they handshakers? Like, what's the best approach when you like go in? And we choreographed the whole thing. And it was basically like, whatever happens, like, I'm going to go first. Cause he was like, okay, yeah, like, you know, it's kind of a hit or miss. Sometimes it's absolutely hug territory. Sometimes it's handshake territory, but there's like symbols to look for. Like, and I was like, okay, great. I was like playing with the whole thing. And so I was, he was like, I'm going to go first and you just like follow my lead. And I was like, great, amazing. And like whatever they do, I'll just kind of like, and then I'll just be able to, I'll also have time to read the signals, read the room, and then go in with what feels right to me, you know? And so we had the whole thing planned out. We had really had the whole thing like choreographed down to a T. We get to dinner early and we get there and then he was just like, okay, I'm going to pee because I'm going to go now before everyone gets here so that, you know, it's not like early in dinner and then I'm just
was like the whole family
you.
there or just
no it's just parents. And
you went to a restaurant.
Yeah, we went to a restaurant. And so we get there early. He was like, I'm gonna go pee. He goes pee and I was like, I know they're gonna walk. I just know, but I wasn't gonna be like, no, don't go. Like I was like, no, do it for sure. Yeah, like you'll come back, then they'll come. And when he was gone, they walked in, and of course, immediately I was like, the whole choreography is out the window.
Of course.
And then
you had to improvise.
Immediately I panic, and I do what I do, and I panic because I like they kind of like looked over, and obviously like they were looking for him, so they were, and then I was like, oh, like waved, and then I do what I do, and I panic, or I just immediately just like launched him with a joke. And I was like, it's just me tonight. He couldn't make it.
Oh my God.
But like, of course they're like, we don't know you. Like this is like, and we're just confused. And so I think.
Did you get a courtesy laugh?
I think I came in a little hot and heavy with that. It wasn't, I think, you know, everyone would have found it funny had they had time to process what I was even saying. But it just kind of came in being like, it's just us. It was just a lot. But it actually went very well.
Oh, good.
We got along smashingly. Oh, actually, one other bad thing happened because then the seating arrangements got a little crazy at first. And so he came over to order. And I was like, I don't know what people are doing. I don't know if people are getting drinks. I don't know what the vibe is. And so like when in doubt, I'm not going to be like the one person who gets a drink.
Sure.
And so they're ordering and it was like one person first and then me. And I couldn't hear because they were like talking to the waiter. I couldn't hear what they were ordering. And then he came to me. I was like, oh, I'm good with water. And then everybody else got drinks.
Oh.
And then I was just like, I feel like such a
up.
boob. And then when all the drinks came, they're like, oh, cheers. And then I was like cheersing with water.
That's so
which I know is bad luck. And it's also embarrassing. And I was just like, honestly, I'm a total boob.
You're giving virgin for that.
Yeah. But then when the waiter came back around, I got a drink later, which we talked about it. We talked about it. And I actually, and a couple of people were getting around too. Okay. So then I was like, yeah. And we talked about it and it actually made me seem really classy. Like it really made me seem like I'm not ordering a drink just because you say it's time to order drinks. I listen to my body and I'm ordering when when it's time for me, which is like midway through dinner. So I actually think it made me look quite confident.
Yeah. I bet they loved that.
Yeah.
They were like, that
I bet you they're still talking.
Really moves to the beat of her own drum.
I bet you they're still talking about it.
Yeah.
But no, it
amazing. Good.
Swimmingly.
I'm glad to hear it. Okay. Well, I'm glad you told that story sort of on the heels of the Decentering Men conversation.
Yeah, I thought that was important. I thought it was timely.
Yeah. I want to ask a question about, we're not really still talking about Summer House, but just kind of finished like dovetailing off of that. I know we talked last week about like, if you're Amanda's team, like what are you telling her, blah, blah, blah. But I want to know, if you're Amanda, we're talking about surviving a scandal, okay? How do you survive a scandal? How are you surviving this? Not how are you like PRing this, or how are you, like branding, personally dealing. Yeah, I'm talking about how are you personally surviving this situation?
I feel like blocking everything would be huge during this time. So like, I know you can like block your name on like Reddit, you can block your name on social, you can block your name. Also, obviously, just staying off social media altogether. I feel like when you're online, it just feels like that's where the world is, and like that is the world. And I feel like it's so hard to remember the fact that like 99% of the people that are shit talking you online, like, wouldn't dare say a single thing to your face. And like when you're walking out and about in the real world, good chunk of people don't care, and the people that do care would probably smile and be super nice to you in real life. And so I feel, and like, yeah, the internet is such a fickle place, and like I do think like people will get over it, like they really will. And like, yes, as much as people are calling this like Scandal 2.0, and like I don't think she's just going to become this like hated figure the way Sandoval did. There's just, the ingredients are not there. And so I really feel like the key points would be like, stay offline, stay off social, block what you can, and then just like spend a lot of time with real people in the real world that you like and that like you. Yeah.
I think that's some solid advice. The only thing I would add to that is decenter men, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be my advice
as well. Decenter men. And I've been doing that a lot lately. Yeah. Actually.
That's going to be my advice moving forward. I think it's the key to happiness. And it's like a light bulb went off for me. And I was like, oh, better than ever. The absolute best.
No, I actually love that. Decenter men. I'm actually going to text my boyfriend
It's
right
the
now.
trick.
Babe, we're decent.
The other thing I was thinking about is Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I understand you started watching it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Tell me about that. Tell me about your experience so far. Where are you?
I'm early season 2.
Okay.
This show's insane. It's insane. Nobody told me like episode 1 already. It's just crazy. The whole show is crazy. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I don't even know where to begin. It's all I'm saying. But one thing really stood out to me because I was watching season 1, and it was like Whitney was coming back and she was talking about her husband Connor. I was like, PU.
Really?
No, I want to be very clear. What I'm PUing about is his little porn addiction.
Tell me you've never been addicted to a little porn.
No. And so here's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that porn addiction is a disease? If you don't mind me asking. No. Tread lightly, counselor.
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't think porn addiction is a disease.
But
what do you mean?
Well, you know, addiction, like so many other forms of addictions, we have all collectively agreed are disease. And I know that it's like there's two pieces. Like there's like actually the chemical compounds that are addictive. But then there's also that like that gene, that whatever is happening to you, to go back to that substance, to go back to that thing that doesn't necessarily speak to the chemical compounds of that thing. You know what I mean? Whether it be alcohol, drugs, or like sugar or something like that, you know?
I guess I don't know what you mean by a disease. Like
do
I think people can be addicted to porn?
No, for sure, of course. But like, do you think alcoholism is a disease?
Yeah.
Right. And do you?
But I don't know what you. But I don't know. Just because I can identify something as being a disease doesn't mean I know what makes it a disease.
Certainly. But if you're like substance abuse, I believe that to be a disease, right? So then who are you to say what substance?
But I don't even know that I would say substance abuse is a disease. It would depend on like what we were talking about. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I don't know if I would say like make that broad a statement.
Okay, so you would say, yeah, alcoholism is a disease. You would say drug addiction is a disease. Or you would say depending on the drug.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think you'd have to be a little bit more specific because I literally don't know what the definition of a disease is.
Okay.
But I feel like you're not asking about whether it's a disease. I feel like you're asking like how seriously do we take it?
Yes, I am, because I'm saying like, again, yeah, I think there are those two pieces to that, like to that addict conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's the one that's about you and it's about your brain and it's about these cycles that have a lot to do with what's going inside you that you have very little control over, especially at a certain point.
Yes.
And then it's about the actual substance and the actual thing, you know? But I feel like largely when we're talking about a lot of these things, when we're talking about a lot of these like when we're talking about alcoholism, when we're talking about drug addiction, when we're talking about diseases, even if we're talking about like an ED, like diseases that are a little bit more behavioral. Mm-hmm. And of course, there is, again, if we're talking about alcohol, if we're talking about drugs, like there is a chemical compound on the other side of that, like in the actual substance that perpetuates that addiction.
Yeah.
But largely we're talking about the behavioral cycle and trap when we're talking about that disease, you know?
I don't think that's largely what we're talking about. I think it depends. I think sometimes you are talking about your body's physiological dependence on a substance, and sometimes we're talking more about sort of your psychological, like, behavioral dependence. I think those
certainly. I'm sorry. I guess my point is that not that like, oh, the psychological dependency matters more than the physiological dependency, as much as like we're not separating those two from the conversation. Like they both matter.
Yes.
Significantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And so if we were to look at something where that physiological component isn't as strong.
But do you know that the physiological component isn't strong?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know any of that.
But what would it take for you to consider a porn addiction as a disease?
I would have to know the definition of a disease. Like, I genuinely am like, I don't know what you're asking me. Are you asking me if I take porn addiction seriously? Because if that's what you're asking me, I don't.
I know
that's
that.
my answer.
And a disease is an abnormal condition that negatively affects the structure or function of an organism, characterized by specific symptoms and signs distinct from immediate physical injury.
Okay, then sure.
Porn addiction is a disease?
Sure, it's a disease. But again, I don't think that's your question. I don't think you want to know if it's a disease. I think you want to know if I like have capacity to like.
You have capacity to hold space for a porn addiction. Like for a man's porn addiction, in a way that puts compassion for his situation first, provided that, you know, you're putting compassion for a situation first isn't a detriment to somebody else's well-being, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can pretty much guarantee you that putting compassion for a situation first is going to be a detriment to somebody else's well-being, because it always is. They're always leeching off someone. And if I'll say it depends, likely no. I don't have capacity for a lot of men's problems.
What if a man came to you and he said, listen, I've fallen to a porn addiction.
Not fallen.
And, you know, do you have any advice? I could really...
Advice? What the hell scenario are you trying to... Do you have a porn addiction? Just be honest.
I honestly wish I had the time. That'd be awesome.
Why are you asking this? Like,
I was just thinking about Connor, and I was watching that play out, and I just couldn't find it.
Like, listen, if you have a porn addiction, you have a porn addiction. Like, whatever. I'm not going to sit here and deny your experience. I'm not going to say, like, oh, that's not a real thing. And if you're sitting across from me in some context and, like, I need to work with you on something, you're a friend, a partner, like, I'm not saying I'm not gonna like sit with you where you're at and like, you know, go there with you, but just sort of on a broad societal level, I'm not here being like, oh, porn addiction, man. Yeah. Like, my heart goes out to these men.
It was just tricky because I was like, watching this play out, and then she kept talking about how, like, you know, it was just hard because, like, he was going through something really hard, and I really wanted to be there for him. And I was like, yeah, she is really holding space for this, like, as if, I don't want to say like as if, but like, yeah, as if it is like a straight up disease, and like he is going through something and I feel for him, but at the same time I'm going through this, and I'm like, I think
two things that might be happening there. One, you get a little bit more context on like Connor and his life and his situation a little bit later. And he's like, God love him. But two, I think that men in religious contexts who consider themselves to be like addicted to sex or anything sexual. Probably watched porn
like 3 times.
No, honestly, like, it's so funny how like men in the church would always just say they had a porn addiction because they watch porn. Right. And it's like, that's not the same thing, because they were basically just like, I can't believe I do this sinful, horrible thing. Right. I must be addicted. Right. And this must be a disease, and pity me.
And to be fair, they're doing this thing where they're like, I'm doing this thing that I don't want to do. Yeah. But I keep doing it. And if I can't explain it, doing it like once a week or twice, then they're like, I'm
then they're like, I'm literally addicted.
Honestly, you know what? I take it back. I feel for him. That sounds challenging.
That's hilarious. But yeah, I think that take yourself outside of that like religious Christian or whatever context, like you're just gonna be like, yeah, I look at porn sometimes. You're not gonna be like, I'm an addict. Like,
right.
It's just kind of a different thing. But I'm glad you have been enjoying it so far. Do you have any other comments on the show? Who's your favorite?
Just that, honestly, controversial take. I like Demi. She's done some fun.
No, in season 1 and early season 2, Demi was a fan favorite.
Okay, and then she gets out of hand. Like, I was looking at like the rest of the season. It seems like things get a bit challenging. Whitney is just absolutely annoying me.
And you're gonna grow to love her as well.
I cannot stand her.
The tides are gonna turn there too.
This Miranda girl, I think she's back for the wrong reasons.
You're gonna grow to love Miranda.
She is also reminded. Oh my gosh, you know what was the biggest boner killer of season 2 was to just see all the husbands showing up on my screen, and I was like, this is not like I don't want to hear from you. I didn't sign up for this. It was also like really funny though to watch them like all on this like groveling tour, because I just feel like none of them took like what their wives did seriously. Like, obviously, like, they were all really successful with Mom Talk, but like I don't know how successful any of them thought the show was gonna be. And so you watch these guys who have just been like absolutely dragged after people watch season 2 or season 1 and like come back and be like, and you know, I take ownership. Oh my god, like that was terrible. That was terrible.
You know what I think? I find the show like it's kind of absurd, and there's a lot of absurd things about that show, but I find it kind of healing to watch, because I'm like, it's really weird to watch people in, obviously it's a different context because they're Mormon, but like to watch people in this sort of like conservative religious context that like isn't too dissimilar from our experience growing up, especially because they're like modern Mormons and they have a lot of like, they kind of, you know, they have loose rules around it, I think. To watch them and watch their like very conservative husbands now be sort of, they have this tension with also being like celebrities now and being reality TV celebrities and like being exposed to like a very different world and trying to figure out like how their religion fits into the fact that they like want what this world has to offer. Right. And so it's just like this very, I don't know, interesting thing watching all these conservative men who are like, you know, I should be the provider and whatever, also look at their lives and be like, oh, wait a second, our wives are like providing for us and like the tables have really turned, but we like it and we want more of it, but like I'm mad and my feelings are hurt because I'm a man. I should be taking care. Like I'm just like I'm really enjoying watching their struggle.
Yeah, it's really interesting. 2 things. One, I got the ick so bad when they like started Dad Talk. And then
everybody did, including their wives.
Yeah, I was like, how could you not? Like, I was like, how could you guys let them do this? It's so embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
And 2, boy, have Zach and Jen really taken me on quite the turn. Like, obviously, season 1, we were just like, Zach is the absolute worst. And then this season, like, I laughed out loud at that fight between Jen and Zach about Ben Affleck.
No, that was so funny.
It was like, and the way he was like, no one ever said that. Like, they said it as a joke. And she was like, no, they said that. I was actually like,
I believe her.
No, you do not.
I do. I think his family said it for real.
For real.
Yep, 100%. I think Zach
and you think they said it consistently?
Yeah, I think his family, maybe not like consistently, not like regularly. I think they said it to her. And if they were joking, they purposely didn't let her know they were joking. Or like they didn't like loop back around. That's my take on it. I don't think she ran with it. Who would do that on TV? Like, and be like, oh, I'm related to the, like, I think they really gave her that impression.
I think that's totally weird.
Sure, she probably could have fact checked a little bit more. Like, she
that's
probably
the thing.
didn't
They're also
like
second cousin. Like, to me, that doesn't feel that hot. Like, that doesn't feel that far removed. So I'm like, how could it be like? How could they not know? Everyone's like, we don't know. I'm like, call someone.
That's the thing. Zach being like, I mean, maybe you know that man lied about it. Like him being like, well, I don't know. If it was a joke, he'd be like, no, I'm not related to Ben Affleck. He wouldn't be like, well, maybe somewhere down the line. That man told her that he's related to Ben Affleck. I'm like, you're a liar. I can feel it.
Crazy.
Well, I'm really glad you're watching. It's been
treat.
Important to me for a while that you get on board with this. One update on that situation, just so you're aware, Taylor And now you've met Taylor and Dakota, so you're kind
Oh
of.
my God, I'm still looking for the moment. I'm like, at what point does she become an eligible bachelorette? And I like her as a, but I'm like, at what? I'm so confused. I just, God bless her.
What do you mean? Because she's like, why are you saying that?
I'm just like, yeah, God bless her, but it just seems like she has decades of work ahead of her.
Absolutely.
And so the idea of putting someone in a position like that just feels like you're setting everyone up for failure. Like
No, 100%.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Which when I look at it and when I look at the show, I'm also like, what are you doing? Like, not to say that like the Bachelorette or the Bachelor casts people who are like actually healthy and good candidates and like ready to find a long-term partner, but they could at least pretend.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think certainly these people are at least good on paper. Yeah, I feel like
it's very clear that she's not in that place.
I cannot fucking stand it.
But she did recently, like I'm pretty sure as of today, get a temporary a temporary restraining order against Dakota.
Oh my God.
So they both have one against each other.
Oh, perfect.
So that's just a little update and a little like more context to that conversation.
Has she spoken out about like having her season pulled?
Not that I know of. I think I saw that she went on vacation with her kids, which I thought, good for you. Get out of the country.
My God. You know who we're not talking about enough is her parents. Holy
that's
shit.
Weird. That's weird.
I could not believe. And like, obviously this is like the edit, but like every single time you hear that mom open her mouth, she's like, you should never have done this in the first place. Okay. Like we know she's here. Like, I'm honestly like, I do not know how she has a relationship with that woman. She seems like the most annoying person. And then when her dad was literally like, would you something like, what does that say about you? And was like screaming, the way I wanted to slap that man across the face. Like, I was like, you guys are terrible. You can
definitely tell, like, you can see how she is a product of her environment. And I mean, there's like, I feel like this last season is interesting too with her relationship with her mom, but that family is in a tough place,
and you can see how like you could just see the disdain for women and how it shows up in the fact that like they just like Dakota and they just like him like better. And it just doesn't matter like what he does, and it doesn't matter. And like, of course, in their back and forth, like I find anytime the two of them are in a room, I'm just like, I don't want to watch this. I find them so exhausting and like not even in
Taylor and Dakota.
Yeah, and like not even in a fun drama kind of way. I just hate watching them interact.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, and the fact that there's like it keeps going back to like, Taylor, you have to get over this. Taylor, you have to get over this, and she doesn't do herself many favors, or at least her edit doesn't do herself many favors, because it goes back to her saying the same thing, like, you were only seeing me, you were seeing her during the days, and then you were fucking me at night, and then you were going back to her. And like, yes, that you do have to get over. And everyone's like, you weren't exclusive, you weren't together, like 100%. But that's not the point. Yeah. And we're not talking about the fact that like she literally was like, I know, just tell me, be honest. And he lied to her for 2 years until he got found out.
Yes.
Like,
and
she cannot get over
like,
that.
She's always like, I just can't trust you. And I feel like her mom is like, Taylor, you weren't exclusive. And I'm like, that's not the issue.
And unfortunately, I feel like because she is so hurt by that acute moment, she does go back to there a lot and be like, well, he was doing this and then he went and fucked her.
She is still not over that.
She's not over that, so which is like, hard. That, you eventually
I just need you to catch up on it all, because it's like, honestly, one of the most exhausting relationships I've ever seen on TV. And I'm like,
I can't watch them dialogue.
You've got to move on, both of them.
I could only
apparently her somebody said that like her season, like one of the motivations of it being pulled was that like her season just was not a good season, which I think is really interesting. But also, like, what's his face, the host said it was the most dramatic season yet. So I thought it was gonna be good. But apparently they broke up a month later, her and the guy, and she went back to Dakota, and that's why
she went back to Dakota.
That's why this recent investigation. God. So anyways, that is tragic, but I'm glad you now have more context on that show. Okay, I have a question for you.
What?
I want to know, I'm gonna introduce a what would you do? Okay.
This
is based on a scenario that I may or may not have been in the past, am currently in. There's no way of knowing. Okay. Your friend starts dating someone. Okay. You find out that this person has been involved in a scandal.
Oh.
It's not necessary. It's certainly not high profile. It's not a high profile scandal. But it is, we're going to have to come up with sort of a rating scale of like scandals and like level of intensity. But I'm going to put it at around a 6. It's notable in this person's circle.
Okay.
And there's room for interpretation with it. But generally speaking, everyone who witnessed that scandal is like, yuck.
Okay.
What do? Do you tell your friend what you heard? Do you, in some weird universe, have a conversation with the friend's partner that they've just started seeing and just like get some more information, get some facts? Do you keep your mouth shut? Where do you fall on that?
Okay, that's really interesting. I think there's a couple things I would need to know. I feel like there are 3 things, like 3 metrics here that define where a scandal sits on that scale.
Okay.
So there's like the sheer size of the scandal, like what happened, the actual, and how big was it? There's the complexity of it. Like, is it a pretty open and shut case?
Right.
Or are there a lot of nuances? Are there a lot of, if I'm speaking on it, am I just speaking on something I have no idea what I'm talking about?
Right.
How many moving parts? And then there's the timeline. Like, did this happen 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Did this happen a week ago?
Yep.
If anything happened a week ago, I'm telling my friend. Like, if anything happened recently,
yes,
I'm telling my friend.
What about a year ago? They've
like just started dating?
Yes.
Yeah, if it happened a year ago and it's a 6, like to me, like that's pretty significant. Like a 6 is pretty significant. So. Yeah.
You're telling your friend.
I'm telling you, I don't think there's any world in which I'm sitting down this person, the person that they're seeing. I feel like I only do that like out of respect if I feel like I owe that person something. And if you're a brand new person coming in and my friend's dating you, I don't feel like I owe you anything. In fact, the only reason I'm like being nice to you and talking to you is because of my friend.
Would there be any part of you that's like not having a conversation with them because I owe them anything, but like I want to get some more information because maybe I don't understand the situation?
And I feel like we've both been in this situation before. And I think the way to do that is like get as much information from the person, because obviously I heard this from somewhere. I heard from somewhere like, okay, this person is involved in a scandal a year ago or whatever. So I'm going digging like there with them to try and get as much information as possible. A year ago to me, I'm like, that's pretty recent. A 6 on the scale, I think I tell them.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I think I would tell them. I think it's tricky though, because I'm always like in the back of my mind, like nobody really wants to know if their partner's a good person or not. Like nobody really wants to.
This is what I was going to ask, because there's also such a difference between these like this early days, like I'm dating somebody and like a partner. And so on that same wavelength, do you tell your friend that like you don't like their partner, not like a new person that they're dating, but like their partner, if there is no danger involved, perceived danger?
Never done it before. I wouldn't start now.
But you're telling me, I feel like people only get to that place through experience.
What do you mean?
Like
you offering the insight that like I don't think your partner, especially if it's a man, like I don't think your boyfriend is like a good person or a good fit for you. That never goes anywhere, because they're not going to care about that. They're only going to come to that conclusion with their own experience. And I feel like it's very rare, again, specifically talking about men here, it's very rare that like somebody introduces me to their boyfriend and I'm like, I like him.
Right.
So I'm just like, of course I'm going to not say that. You know what I mean?
So then what if they're like, do you like him?
Well, that happens all the time.
Right. And what do you say?
What do I say?
You say, you seem happy. One time I said that to you and you got mad at me.
Me?
Yeah, it was like, oh my
no,
gosh,
I didn't. I didn't get mad at you
awesome.
for saying you seem happy. That's not true at all. I think, yeah, kind of something along those lines. Like, you seem happy. You seem like you guys have fun together. Like, whatever. I get kind of annoyed.
Do you like him?
No, if you're gonna push, then no. You know I don't like your man. Get a grip of yourself. I think I get kind of annoyed at that question, honestly, because I'm like, first of all, if you know anything about me, you know I don't like that man. Second of all, why? First of all, who cares?
You're just like, grow up.
Yeah, I'm like, grow up. And also, like, do you? Like, let's be real here. Like, yeah, I know you have a crush on him. I know you're having a good time. But, like, do you actually like him? So why would I? You know what I'm saying?
I love the fact that you think that that's like a... I don't think that packs the rhetorical punch that you think it does. Like, if you're like, do you? They'd be like, yes, of course.
No, I understand that. That's why I don't ask them that. But I'm saying in my heart of hearts, I'm like, you don't like him. You don't actually like him as a person. You like him as like a symbol. You like him as what he represents.
Sure,
you
like he represents nothing to me. So
yeah, he represents nothing to me. I don't have a
nothing.
crush on him. And if you didn't have a crush on him, you wouldn't like him either, probably.
Yeah, so fair. As a benchmark, if you're like, if he was a woman, would you want him to hang out? Would you want him to go? Do you feel like that is a good benchmark question to ask in order to determine if you like someone? Like, if you like someone,
you like their
personality.
Their personality. No, I think it's a good question to ask to check in with yourself about to what extent you're decentering men.
What's step one of decentering men?
Step one of decentering men. Thank you for asking. I thought you would never ask. I saw a TikTok that said, centering men, we don't talk about how it is literally like an addiction.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm not trying to like minimize like what people go through who have certain kinds of addictions. What?
I said it's a disease.
Yeah, like porn addiction. But she's like, this is a real thing, how like our nervous system and physiologically, we can talk about it all we want, and even like just acknowledging like, oh yeah, I'm not really that excited by the idea of like hanging out with a man or whatever. We can have that sort of intellectual recognition. But when it comes to like actually freeing yourself of that like codependent need for the validation of men generally, like societally, it's literally injected into you from such a like young age that there's a whole process. But I do think that step one is, first of all, you got to realize you have a problem. Okay. You have to confront yourself like you did earlier.
And I've done that.
You've done that. So you've passed step one. I'm very proud of you.
That's awesome.
The next thing you have to do, in my opinion, is you have to ask yourself if you want to decenter men. And maybe you don't right now. It sounds like you are not interested in that right now.
You have no idea what I'm interested in.
I do have no idea. So we can talk about that.
Yeah,
we can talk
maybe
about that.
I am completely interested in that.
Yeah, maybe.
Jesus.
But you have to ask yourself if it's something you actually want to do. Because it does take work.
Sorry, Mary. I'm decentering men.
Oh, that's funny. Good one. I think, you have to ask yourself if you want to. And then the next thing you have to do is you actually have to find some kind of source outside of that. You have to find like...
Outside of what?
Outside of the validation of men.
Okay,
you have to find
a
well to actually gain... that like a life-giving well to actually gain...
Okay, so this is where, if I can offer you some feedback, this is where your school is breaking down a little bit, because there is this really, really large force that I think requires breaking down some of the channels of where it's coming through.
So you're saying finding like a source is too broad. You find something more specific?
Yeah, because you're saying find a source other than men.
I'm saying find a source that's not centered around the validation.
Right.
Of men.
And I'm saying for someone like me, and I'm sure for a lot of people, that's not that useful, because we might have a lot of sources of of life and joy that are not centered around the validation of men.
I beg to differ, but what do you? But
you
say
don't
more.
think I have life sources that are not centered around validation?
No,
of men?
I'm not saying you don't. I'm saying I don't think you have as many as you think you do.
I think I have like at least 3.
That's great. I don't think that's a lot.
Okay, but to be fair, like we only have so many sources anyway.
Yeah, fair. Great.
Okay, so then I've done that step.
No, you actually have to invest in those.
I do.
But this is
I
this is
just
what I'm
made
saying.
the
You have to,
coolest clay piece. I've been working on my clays a lot.
and that's great. And you have
Okay.
to, and that's I highly encourage that. I think that's amazing. I'm not saying doing that is going to automatically make you decenter men.
No,
I'm
certainly.
saying you do have to invest more in those things. You have to invest more in community and spaces that don't center the centering of men.
Yeah.
So that includes like the entertainment you consume. That includes like the people you hang out with. Like it's not just about having like girlfriends.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's about really mindfully understanding that like the centering of men lives everywhere.
Yeah.
That's why when you say like we have a lot of sources that don't, I'm like, check your sources. You know what I'm saying? Like
there's no male validation in my clay. I want to be very clear about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, if I find it, what will you give me?
Oh, I'll give you $100 if you can find male validation in my clay.
I look forward to it.
There's no male validation in my marathon training. And
I beg to differ. Sorry.
And actually, it's that kind of sick shit where you take something that's performance-based, you take something that is actually so personal and something that actually is about like this journey with self in such a micro and macro way. Mm-hmm. And you've made it sick and you've made it twisted.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to your own illness.
Lord forgive me. There can be many things
in thing?
within one
Beautifully
thing.
said.
I know. Like it doesn't, you can have something that you love that is, most things are not about one thing. So it can be about you and it can be about your journey and it can be healing and it can be restorative and it can be toxic and it can be problematic and it can center men. And
so 2 things can be true. Wow.
Not even 2 things, multiple things, many things. Thank you for going on that journey with me. And this has been episode 1 of Decentering Men. Come back next week for a step-by-step guide.
I look forward to it. And hopefully steps 3 through 10 are, I can actually learn from, because step 1 and 2 and
and actually I should have gone back. Step 1 is actually, you need to come here with a humble heart. We can check at every stage. When I said step 1, you're like, done. When I said step 2, you said, how do you know I don't want to?
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
step 3, you said, yeah, I've already got those.
Yeah.
So we're going to start. What we need to work on with you is come with a humble heart. Because you have to really be willing to examine yourself and see what's there. And right now I can tell you don't know. And so that's where we're going to start for
Can you give me a second?
first session
Done.
of Decentering Men. We'll get there. I know you want to get there so bad. It's so cute. Okay, so I'm going to hit a quick did you care?
Okay.
Speaking of sex and the church.
Okay.
Did you care about the Hillsong scandal with Carl Lentz? Did we talk about that already?
No, absolutely not. Remind me when
For those of you who
he had a
don't
wife
know.
and kids.
Yeah,
And he
Carl Lentz was a
cheated.
pastor at Hillsong. He was good friends with Justin Bieber and some other celebrities, and he was high profile, let's just say that. And he was caught cheating on his wife. He also had kids. It was a total scandal, as it were. Did you care about that?
That's huge. I feel like when it was happening, I was not following it. But then when I went after the fact, I went back and I cared deeply.
It just seems so unoriginal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But just because it's a rom-com is unoriginal, but it still
True.
keeps us coming back.
Still
and like
hits.
there is just nothing like a pastor just like getting caught cheating. It's a classic.
I just love it. My heart goes out to everyone who's hurt involved, but like, I love when a pastor shows their true colors because we all know. So it's just nice to see it.
If we have any pastors listening, we're sorry. And not all pastors.
Not all pastors. Yeah, I think we should start there. Not all pastors. We support pastors. And if we offended you, we will donate to your porn addiction recovery.
No, for sure. All the best on your journey. Here's what I'll say. You know, people are like, oh, not all men. But people are like, yeah, not all men. But like, yes, all women. I say the same with like pastors. Not all pastors. But if you know anyone who has not had a single uncomfortable experience with a pastor, like a youth pastor or something like that in their life, like I would love to meet that person.
Yeah.
I don't think I could name at least a single woman who like grew up in the church or spent significant time around the church who does not have at least one story of a deeply uncomfortable, or at least medium uncomfortable interaction with a pastor.
Would you like to share yours?
Absolutely not.
We'll
Honestly,
get there.
I came face to face with mine the other day. I saw him at the airport. It was very scary.
Oh yeah, that's
an
true.
old youth pastor that we had. It was absolutely shocking.
You should have confronted him. You know who you are if you're listening. It's been a pleasure, folks.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.